doing the Tesla convoy today. We're doing a trip to Sudbury, Ontario, which is a lot of kilometers. It's about a 6-hour, it's about 400, 500 kilometers that way, and then we're driving back because there's nothing north of Sudbury. But the honor here is there's a bunch of new Tesla superchargers that have opened up in Ontario. There's at least 5, and there's going to be several more coming up next year. But there's a big club in Sudbury that's supporting EV vehicles, and so we're gonna go there. Looks like there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars today, so that's gonna be very exciting. Yeah, so we're here at the Vaughan Mills Center, and this is up in Concord, Ontario. This is a huge mall. It's got pretty much everything up here, and it's just in Northern Ontario, so it's a nice little spot. You can basically go in and get anything you'd like. There's a Starbucks, there's just a million different coffee places. There's a very trendy ice cream place here called Sweet Jesus that I'm not a big fan of, but people generally love. And it's right off the highway, so then you get supercharger. That's the most important part. And so we've all taken a quick charge here, but it wasn't necessary. We can all reach Barrie, Ontario pretty fine as it is. And to the right over there, you're going to see Canada's Wonderland, which I believe just got renamed recently. No, it's still called Canada's Wonderland. So this is the trip we're doing today. As you can see, it's not a dramatic trip to Sudbury. We're about 358 kilometers away. We've traveled about 10 kilometers so far. 2 supercharger stops. The first one in Barrie for 10 minutes. And honestly, had I charged up a little bit more before leaving, it probably would have been just fine. But we're doing that stop there. We're going to get a quick bite to eat. But lunch is going to be served in Parry Sound. We're going to get there probably for about 11:30, 12 o'clock. And then good old Sudbury, Ontario. Now, Sudbury is going to be beautiful to visit. If my high school geography is still correct, there is a Canadian Shield there, which is basically a large rocky landscape. And so you're going to see a lot of flat landscape here at first, but it's going to get rockier as we go. Yeah, so 2 superchargers in Barrie. The first one is the original one. It has 8 stalls. And it was a good supercharger, but now we've got a better one. It's a 20 stall supercharger, and we're going to head our way there. So, I mean, on this trip, definitely could not get to Sudbury without either a Barrie or a Parry Sound supercharger. But I'm just going to see what happens if I say remove supercharging stop and just go straight there. It's recalculating the route. All right, I will make it, but it says to stay below 75 kilometers to do that. And yeah, I'm not going to be doing that. So, you know, I bet you if I charged to 100%, it would have been a little closer. I only charged about 85, 88%. But anyway, there you go. You do need a full charge and or a Parry Sound stop unless you want to go really slow. But plus, 6%, I'm willing to take those odds. 6% isn't bad. It's not bad at all. So yeah, this is still pretty flat. You can see the convoy of Teslas here. There's one behind. We're just passing on here. a few before. So it looks like there's like five. You know what? I keep losing track. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Teslas in total. We are going through, and I'll show you guys a photo of the map, but we're going through a very, there's a lot of lakes around here. So it looks kind of boring. If you look around here, like, oh, there's some trees and stuff, but it's, you know, outside of this, there's a lot of cottages, there's a lot of lakes. So here we go. A few rocky landscapes of the Canadian Shield. It protects us from cold winds and snow and harsh weather, which is actually true. The Canadian Shield, being a more raised mountainous area, funnels all the wind down south to west, sort of Winnipeg and Minnesota and Missouri and kind of that whole area there. That's where the wind gets funneled, all because of the Canadian Shield. So the Canadian Shield does actually protect us from the harsh Canadian winter. Yeah, again, we're living some elementary school geography lessons. This is about as advanced as it gets here as far as geography goes. We've got another 30 minutes to Parry Sound, Ontario. Justin Bieber was born there? No, he wasn't. I have nothing good about Justin about Parry Sound in Ontario. Maybe I'll Google it on the way. Probably not. So we started traveling about 9 o'clock in the morning, and now it's 11:30. We had some very casual stops, so it wasn't like we've been rushing this along, but the sun's coming up here really far north in Ontario. I mean, the sun is over there. You can probably barely see it, but it's almost noon. Like this is the high. This is going to be the high sun. As promised, there are rocky elements to this trip. There's a golden griddle. Yeah, look at this. This is very nice. As promised, there are lots of rocks. That was a nice shot, nice quick stop. Ended up being a little longer than we needed it to be, just because we're not in a hurry. And the EV Club in Sudbury is expecting us at a certain time, and we're ahead of schedule. So we are just going to, so we took our time, charged a little longer. I got to almost 90%, which is more than enough distance. It was 38% was the charge. Sorry, we're expected to be at 38% by the time we get there. So more than enough power. Even if we speed a little bit and use a little bit more power, we're still going to be okay. I gotta say, so I've been driving since 9 o'clock, so it's not been too long. It's been 5 hours. With a couple of stops. Feeling very relaxed and not tired at all. Been listening to some podcasts and some books on audio. Listening to Stephen King's On Writing right now, which has been interesting so far. Yeah. Here's some cars we pass by. Yeah. Anyway.
In fact, I think that in some deep valley of my head, that last scream is still echoing. In a dull, cold month.
So now we are very close to Sudbury. We're about 15 minutes away. And look, there's a beautiful lake, frozen lake now. Promised you guys a rocky landscape. This might be as rocky as it gets. I have a feeling it's not going to get any rockier than this. So we have left Sudbury. It was a wonderful stay. We visited the supercharger that was brand new. As you saw, the supercharger was kind of a very busy mall, like a very busy strip mall. We met the EV Club of Sudbury there, the president, Devin, and he was great. He brought us a little gift bag for coming up to see them. And we went to go see the Giant Nickel, which is, one of the tourist attractions in Sudbury. Sudbury is a mining town. They are a big miner of nickel. They mine a lot of nickel. That's probably better. They do mine a lot of nickel, and so they have this giant nickel that you can go see. It is closed for the winter months, so we were just there. We took a few photos. And you know what, guys? I gotta say, I've had this car for 6 months. I've never done the Christmas door tree thing. I did that for the group, and that was a lot of fun. And got to show off the car a little bit to people that were interested in buying Teslas. Certainly a couple of buyers were one EV owner I met owns a smaller EV, I think a Volt or something, but he's on kid number 4. Like me, he had twins, and so he's looking to get the Model X. This first time seeing the Model X. Not as many Teslas up there. So we are now on our way back from Sudbury, but we're going to go a slightly different route. So we're taking the same route back through Parry Sound, but we're going to go left instead of straight, and we're going to go to Huntsville. There's a supercharger there, and then we're going to go down to Pickering, which is just east of the city. So we're going to visit 2 other new superchargers on the way. It's definitely going to take the trip a little bit longer because going down straight would have been faster, but we did want to hit up the two superchargers. Huntsville is a very cottagey area, a lot of cottages and golf courses, and certainly no golfing here right now. As you can see, there's snow everywhere, but there's skiing and kind of just like a very cottagey escape sort of area. There's some spas in Huntsville, so park there. We're actually going to charge at Parry Sound just for a little bit, and then we're going to park in Huntsville and charge there, and then move on to Pickering for the next supercharger. So Next stop is going to be back to Parry Sound where we came back. Last time we spent a little bit of time in Parry Sound. This time it's going to be just a splash of energy before we continue on. We're 10 minutes away from Parry Sound, so we've traveled over 100 kilometers now, and getting close to Parry Sound. We're expected to charge there for about 10 minutes. It's going to be a very quick charge. As you can see, it is now getting late. The car is still driving itself, so bright side, don't have to worry about it too much, but definitely need to move for a coffee. So we are back at Parry Sounds. We're just getting off the highway now. I need to go to a gas station. It's not because of the Parry Sound supercharger bathroom not being a lot of fun.
Reach your destination.
Though that would be a good guess, but I'm running out of windshield wiper fluid, which is not a surprise. It's these roads are muddy and they're dirty, and windshield wiper fluid would be of great help. So a bit of a change of plans. Last we left off, we were in Huntsville, and now I'm back in Parry Sound. We had a bit of an issue. That issue being is we took out the Huntsville supercharger really darn quick. We five cars arrived. We plugged in around the same time as we were doing. There was no other cars there. There were 6 stalls, and I believe when the 4th or 5th person plugged in. We're not really sure. I think it was the 4th or 5th person anyway, because I was the 3rd person plugged in. The lights just went off, and there was no charger activity whatsoever. So Huntsville, and I will see whether or not it's even showing up as down, because that would be an interesting question. So with Huntsville down, and all of us kind of. Yeah, see, that's a lie. It says, hey, you can navigate here, but it's not showing you how many stalls are available, so that's interesting. But at any rate, so we go there, we plug in, the charger went down, and we were kind of left scratching our heads. What do we do now? Most of us had about 120 kilometers, give or take. I had about 100 kilometers. Driving that Model X meant, 75D, meant I had less power than everybody else. And Barrie was about 120 kilometers, but it wasn't on straight highway roads. It was like on winding roads with a lot of elevation changes. So we decided to go back to Parry Sound, which was, which was funny. And now, so we plugged in there, and now I am going back home, as it were. And yeah, that's our evening. We never made it to Pickering, so we were originally supposed to go here. We're originally supposed to go here. The brand new supercharger. Look at all those stalls. None of them are being used. And we're going to meet up with other people there. So it was going to be the 5 cars that have continued on the trip, and it was going to be other drivers from Toronto. We're going to meet up with the Pickering supercharger, but yeah, that's not happening. So we went back to Parry Sound. Like, we were fine. Like, there was never really a lot of range anxiety, but it was back in the wrong direction. So what have we learned today? EV traveling, still not the easiest thing to do in the world. We wanted to visit 4 new superchargers, and we ended up getting to, well, a few of them. We're here at the Barrie supercharger now. The big thing here today was the Huntsville supercharger. We literally all plugged in at the same time, give or take. Not on purpose, it's just we arrived there at the same time when we plugged in, and we ended up taking down the supercharger. that probably shouldn't happen. Funny enough is we've heard a story from when we went back to Parry Sound. There's a hotel there, and we were talking to the person behind the desk, which we had spoken to before. She was asking us about our Teslas and all that, and so we kind of went there with our tails between our heads, and we're like, oh, so now we're back here again. Sorry, we needed to charge here. And she's like, oh yeah, when the superchargers were first installed at that location, at the Parry Sound location, they literally were, when somebody plugged in, their elevator died. Their elevator would stop working. So Tesla had to fix that. My guess is there was a problem with the power grid. So anyway, that's where we're at now. I'm just trying to get on the way home. I'm at Barrie, and going to be here for about 20 minutes to just get enough power to get home. Yeah, there you go. Supercharging, still in its infancy in some ways. It's Mark here, Tesla Driving Dad. Thank you so much. If you made it this far, amazing. That's great. Look, I really love these Tesla traveling videos, and I wanted to do one myself. And so I hope you enjoyed this. There are some problems. I know there's some sound problems. There's definitely audio problems, which I'll resolve. I've got a mic. It's fine. Certainly it wasn't perfect in narration-wise, but I really enjoyed making this, and I hope to make more. So, you know how it goes with the YouTube channels. If you really like this video, please click like. Please make comments and subscribe. It really helps promote the video and helps us to produce more content. And also, I really want to drive a semi-truck. So if you have an email address that's not on the Tesla mailing list, do use my referral code. Go in and subscribe and get on that lottery so that we can potentially race a semi-truck. Now, we won't do it together probably, but still, that's an amazing opportunity. And if you are buying a Tesla, of course, I don't have any referrals, so I'm looking for my very first one. And I'd love to get an electric car for the kids. They're a little young for that now, but here's them in a car as we're going on our way to the doctor's office for their 6-month appointment. I thought I'd include them in here because why not? Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please do provide feedback. Would love to hear it, whether it's positive or negative. Thanks, guys. Cheers.